Good day, good people, and welcome to Whiskey and Smoke News Network, your weekly whiskey, cigar, pipe, and pipe tobacco program, where we cover the news, new releases, upcoming events, and we throw in an interview with someone in the industry or someone who is industry adjacent for good measure. We may sometimes get a bit cheeky. We may even, at times, be a bit scholarly, but providing you with some entertaining content for the next hour or so is our ultimate goal. With all that being said, please remember that you must be the appropriate age in your home country to watch or listen to this program, which is usually 18 or 21. So if you're not of the appropriate age in your home country, please stop watching or listening to the program now. This is the episode 12 for February 15th, 2026. My name is Chris Kumnick, and I'll be your host. Let's go ahead and take a little sneak peek of this week's Pop the Cork in-person interview with Jack Breslin of Uncharted Whisky Company from Scotland. We talk about his background before starting Uncharted Whisky, their core lines of whiskey, as well as a blend of other topics. Let's take a look. It's old stock then, right?
Yeah, it's White Mackay.
Yeah.
So that one, we called it Time after the Pink Floyd song, because
Pink Floyd's Time, yep.
And that was about the changing of the guard and the changing of eras, because Bruichladdich has been, back then, it was 1991, I think it was distilled.
Yep.
And that was when White and Mackay owned it.
Right.
And that was, that was used in the White Mackay operation.
Right.
It was a big blenders, for those who don't know. And then it was sold, it was mothballed, and it was sold around the turn of the millennium to Mark Rainier and his crew.
Right.
And then they sold it to Remy Cointreau. So it's really evolved over the years.
All of that with Jack and more, but first, the news. In whiskey news, Barrel Craft Spirits has sold its modern Jeffersontown, Kentucky blending facility, opened in September 23, with 8 64,000-gallon tanks that boosted its blending capacity by 500%, to the American Craft Bottling, with the transaction effective February 2nd, 2026. The sale allows BCS to streamline operations by consolidating all blending at its original 2013 Gilmore facility, which the company states have sufficient capacity for current and future demand while avoiding overextension amid industry challenges. As quoted by founder Joe Beatrice, the move reflects proactive strategic refinement to navigate economic pressures, support long-term growth, and maintain focus on innovation. BCS plans to invest in new equipment and technology at the Gilmore to enhance efficiency without interrupting production, ensuring continued delivery of its signature creative complex whiskey releases to loyal fans in 2026 and beyond. WhistlePig, the LVMH-backed luxury rye whiskey brand, announced that Charles Gibb has departed as CEO effective immediately after only 8 months in the role, following a mutual agreement with the board. Gibb, who joined in June of 2025 from his position at as U.S. boss at Fever Tree, oversaw key milestones including the September 2025 release of the brand's oldest ever 30-year-old expression and the late 2025 opening of a new visitor experience in Louisville's Bourbon District. The company expressed gratitude for Gibb's contribution and wished him well while promoting longtime CFO Alex Roberts, who has been with WhistlePig since December of 17, after a career in investment banking, to interim CEO. Roberts highlighted his 8-year tenure in growing the brand more than fivefold into the leading luxury American whiskey label and expressed excitement for the next chapter as search begins for a permanent CFO replacement. This transition aims to maintain business continuity and momentum in the premium rye segment. President Donald Trump announced on Truth Social on February 2nd, 2026, that the United States and India have reached a new trade deal effective immediately, which reduces reciprocal tariffs between the two nations following a call with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Under the agreement, the U.S. will lower its tariff on Indian goods from 50% to 18%, while India commits to reducing its tariffs and non-tariff barriers on U.S. products towards zero, increasing Buy American purchases significantly, including over $500 billion in U.S. energy, technology, agriculture, coal, and other goods, and halting oil imports from Russia in favor of greater volumes from the U.S. and potentially Venezuela. Modi confirmed the U.S. tariff cut to 18% on made-in-India products via X, praising Trump's leadership and expressing optimism for deeper bilateral cooperation between the world's two largest democracies. The deal follows India's recent free trade agreement with the EU and built on its February 2025 reduction of bourbon tariffs from 150% to 100%. While specific product coverage remains unpublished, the lower 18% U.S. duty aligns India more closely with Asian peers like Vietnam, Thailand, and Bangladesh, potentially benefiting American whiskey exports valued at $8.8 million to India in 2024 and broader trade ties. Mangrove Global Managing Director Nick Gillette warns that the spirits industry faces a massive $22 billion unsold aging inventory stockpile, the highest in over a decade, tied to a structural mismatch between long lead time production cycles and rapidly evolving consumer drinking habits. In Financial Times reported analysis, Gillette describes the surplus as capital locked and liquid laid down years ago for a steady growth world that no longer exists. Driven by a perfect storm of underestimated moderation, selectivity, intentionality, and fewer but higher quality drinking occasions, rather than a temporary dip before a return to old patterns, he argues the industry must accept permanent behavioral shifts. Consumers celebrate less frequently, drink less per session, and prioritize what's in the glass. For distributors and producers alike, this demands sharper portfolio discipline, reduced volume chasing, honest demand assessment, and alignment of supply with current realities, positioning distributors as key bridges between producer ambitions and actual consumer behavior. Gillette emphasizes that true progress and future growth will come from uncomfortable adaptations to today's more intentional drinking culture, not waiting for yesterday's patterns to reemerge. Kentucky Distillers Association released its 8th biannual Economic Impact Report for 24-25, revealing that Kentucky bourbon generates a record $10.6 billion annually for the state's economy, up from $9 billion in the prior report, while supporting over almost 24,000 jobs and $2 billion in wages, salaries, and benefits. Despite recent industry headwinds that prompted production pauses and job cuts at some distilleries, Kentucky leads the U.S. distilling with 27% of the national spirits output and employment, far ahead of the Tennessee's 8.4%. The sector purchases 84% of its 27.3 million annual corn bushels from Kentucky farmers, up from 70%, operates a historic high of 125 licensed distilleries across 45 counties, and ages a record 16.1 million barrels of bourbon. Bourbon contributes $372 million in state and local tax revenue yearly and drives tourism via the expanded Kentucky Bourbon Trail, now 68 stops. KDA President Eric Gregory and state leaders, including Governor Andy Beshear, Senate President Robert Stivers, House Speaker David Osborne, and Speaker Pro Tem David Meade, emphasized the industry's long-term strength, rural economic revitalization, and the need for supportive policies such as the 2026 barrel tax relief to sustain growth, investment, and global competitiveness. In some good news, the Glenmorangie Company has released Ardbeg 10 Cask Strength, a powerful 61.7% ABV version of its flagship 10-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey, crafted exclusively for members of the Ardbeg Committee, the distillers' dedicated fan club that has requested this higher strength expression for over 20 years. Matured in hand-selected American oak ex-bourbon casks, including some experimental barrels filled with undiluted new make spirit, the whiskey delivers intensified classic Ardbeg notes of toffee, tar, fennel, sea spray, peat moss, malt, smoked cinnamon, wood smokes, citrus sweetness, and salt, as described by master blender Gillian McDonald and distillery manager Briannie McNiven, the first female co-chairs in Ardbeg's nearly 200-year history. This marks the highest ABV committee release to date and follows a rare Japan-exclusive high-strength Ardbeg 10 from 2003. Available to committee members via the Ardbeg website starting February 24th at a suggested retail price, I apologize, of £75 or about $102 per bottle. with limited quantity also offered at the Islay Distillery Visitor Center. The Whiskey Exchange has launched its new Zodiac series, a collectible whiskey collection inspired by the 12 astrological signs following the success of its 2024-2025 season series. The series will roll out in 3 themed sets, with the first release available now exclusively at the Whiskey Exchange online and in-store, featuring single cask expressions selected by buying director Don Davies and own label product manager Chris Bolton to match each sign's personality through flavor profiles, quality, and character. The debut 4 whiskeys include Pisces, a 10-year-old Glenglassaugh with maritime sea spray, fresh dried fruits, and gentle spice from second-filled Oloroso sherry casks. Aries, a 12-year-old peated Bunnahabhain offering smoky bacon, burning grass, orchard fruit spice, roasted nuts, and singed caramel. Taurus, a 5-year-old Dai Luang Speyside with toffee, caramel, roasted nuts, vanilla, and orchard fruit. And Gemini, a 16-year-old Ardmore showcasing citrus, orchard fruit, multi-biscuits, and smoke. Each bottle features unique artwork by Jenna Morse, with the remaining signs to follow throughout the year for personalized star sign collecting. Edrington-owned The Macallan has launched its second James Bond collaboration whiskey, the Macallan Diamonds Are Forever 55th Anniversary release, a limited edition 18-year-old single malt scotch celebrating 55 years since the 1971 film Diamonds Are Forever hit the theaters. Distilled in 2007 and matured in bespoke, sherry-seasoned European and American oak hybrid casks, plus American oak red wine casks that echo Bond's wine expertise used to solve clues in the movie, the 45.5% ABV expression features a natural color reminiscent of Nevada's red-orange desert sandstone. The nose offers polished oak, vanilla bean, and rich dried fruits, leading to a palette of smooth caramel, cocoa-dusted truffles, fruit-driven complexity, and nutmeg, with long, refined finish. Whiskey maker Russell Grieg highlights its elegant surprises with layered storytelling, while creative director Juanme Ferraz emphasizes the shared themes of innovation, intrigue, and timeless elegance between the Macallan and Bond. The bottle packaging draw directly from the film's production art, including laser beam satellite and title sequence motifs. Available now exclusively at themacallan.com, the Macallan Estate Boutique, and Heathrow Airport until February 17, 2026. It will then roll out to select UK retailers, Harrods, Selfridges, The Whiskey Shop, Masters of Malt, Amazon, from March 5th at the suggested retail price of £600 per bottle. This follows the 2022 Macallan James Bond 60th anniversary release. Christie's of London is set to auction 2 entire casks of Karyazama single malt whiskey. Casks 6195 and 888, distilled in 1999, shortly before the legendary distillery ceased production in 2001 and closed in 2011, in what is believed to be the final opportunity to acquire full Karyazama casks on the open market. Sourced from the private collection of Sukhinder Singh, co-founder of the Whiskey Exchange and Elixir Distillers, the casks are currently stored in bond at the Tormore Distillery in Scotland. The final chapter, single owner auction opens March 10th at 2 p.m., offering buyers approximately 420 standard 700 milliliter bottles per cask, the chance to shape future maturation, bottling decisions, and bespoke releases. As highlighted by Christie's global head of wine and spirits, Adam Bilby, and Singh himself, these casks represent an unparalleled piece of whiskey history. Karyazama's rich, distinctive style, made of 100% Golden Promise barley, wooden washbacks, small stills, and Spanish sherry casks, has achieved cult status, with bottles fetching record prices and vanishing into private collections worldwide. Once sold, further Karyazama casks are extremely unlikely to appear on the market. So go get 'em, boys. Go get 'em. Eau Claire Distillery in Alberta, Canada, has launched Plowman's Single Malt Whiskey, a premium flagship expression under its Plowman's label, and is finished in Pedro Jimenez PX Sherry casks from Jimenez Spinola in Jerez, Spain. Crafted by master distiller Daniel Gallery using 100% Alberta malted barley, including horse-farmed grain, the whiskey is initially aged in ex-bourbon and European oak casks before the rich sherry cask finishing and bottled at 46% ABV. It delivers aromas of toasted oak, espresso, dark chocolate, and dates with a palette of European oak spice, roasted walnuts, honey, cherries, raisins, dark cocoa, and dried fruits, highlighting Alberta's terroir and careful maturation. As quoted by founder David Ferran, Plowman's embodies years of refinement and confidence in Canadian single malt's growing global credibility, while Gallery emphasizes its deliberate, merit-based approach. Presented in a distinctive bottle featuring a mountain motif, the limited release whiskey is available online via Eau Claire Distillery and in its Turner Valley location for Canadian $199.95 or about $146 US, while supplies last. Glenlivet, the world's first wholly community-owned distillery and a not-for-profit community benefit society based in Dingwall Highlands, Scotland, has secured another £500,000 in funding from the Catalyst Fund, managed by Scottish development agency Firstport. Established in 2015 by former Army Air Corps pilot John Mackenzie and registered as a CBS in 2016, the distillery, owned by 3,796 members, mostly local, each with equal voting rights regardless of share size, began producing whiskey and gin in 2018. The investment will support ongoing Scotch whiskey production, create new jobs, bolster marketing and sales efforts, and provide essential working capital as the first 10-year-old batch continues maturing toward the early 2030s releases. Despite challenges including the COVID-19 pandemic, a wood chip store fire, and a legal dispute over land ownership, Chair Jock Ramsey welcomed the funding as vital breathing space to focus on long-term growth, sustainability, and market expansion amid current industry headwinds. This marks the first time the Catalyst Fund has backed a CBS, following Glenlivet's early share that offers share offers that raised $2.6 million in 2016 and $1.1 million in 2021. Arbiki Distillery, a family-owned B Corp certified single estate farm distillery on Scotland's east coast, established in 2014, has opened pre-orders for its first 3 single malt Scotch whiskey releases after unveiling them at exclusive invitation-only tastings for global leaders at the World Economic Forum in Davos in late January 2026. Hosted by Singapore-based investment firm Sao Pei Chi. The ultra-rare The Wild One, limited to just 100 bottles crafted by Glasstorm, shaped by wild spontaneous fermentation and terroir, is priced at £30,000 each, with a full set of 100 available for £3.2 million. The Journey comprises 9 never-to-be-repeated 10 to 18-year-old single malts, each finished in unique casks: bourbon, port, rum, burgundy, cognac, calvados, sauternes, and mizunara, and is limited to 500 sets at £3,000 per set. These will be shipping the summer of 2026. The accessible flagship Signature is a 10-year-old single malt aged in ex-bourbon casks, now available for pre-order at £250 per bottle, ahead of its summer 2025 release. Co-founders John and Ian Sterling described the Davos launch as a strategic global introduction to Arbiki's field-to-bottle philosophy, long-term vision for premium single malt with highly encouraging early response. In rather large American news, Kirin Holdings, the Japan-based drinks conglomerate, has agreed to sell its Kentucky bourbon brand Four Roses to the U.S.-based wine and spirits giant Gallo for up to approximately $775 million, including a potential $50 million earn-out contingent on performance targets. Founded in 1888 and acquired by Kirin in 2002, Four Roses has shown strong growth primarily in the U.S., with operations including a distillery, a visitor center in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, plus a bottling and warehouse facility in Nelson County. Kirin confirmed the divestment follows a strategic portfolio and balance sheet review aimed at reallocating resources to higher growth areas leveraging its core strengths such as Kirin beer, Japanese whiskey Fuji, and Australian gin Four Pillars. The transaction expected to close in the second quarter of 2026, pending U.S. antitrust approvals, will see no immediate changes to Four Roses operations, production, or distribution, according to a Gallo spokesperson who expressed excitement about welcoming the brand into its portfolio. Diageo-owned Lagavulin has expanded its core range with Lagavulin 11-year-old Sweet Peat, an 11-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey aged exclusively in first fill American oak ex-bourbon casks to introduce a layer of approachable sweetness, notes of toffee, apple, vanilla, honeyed malt, and dark chocolate, while preserving the brand's signature intense Islay peat smoke, bonfire character, salinity, and oak spice. This marks the first permanent range addition since the Lagavulin 8-year-old, which happened 9 years ago, crafted using traditional methods with heavily peated malt, local Islay water, wooden washbacks, and the distillery's pear-shaped copper pot stills. As explained by Senior Vice President Jesse Damashek and Master Blender Dr. Stuart Morrison, Sweet Peat balances pronounced smoke with greater accessibility, appealing to both curious newcomers and longtime fans, and aligns with the modern drinking occasions like neat sips over ice or in cocktails. Diageo highlights two signature serves, the smoky sweet old-fashioned and Sweet Peat tea, to accentuate its softer, sweeter edges. Bottled at 43% ABV, the Lagavulin 11-year-old Sweet Peat is now available at select U.S. retailers for $69.99. The Spirits Embassy, a Huntley-based UK retailer, has launched the Imperious Whiskey Reserve, an exclusive collection of 8 single cask strength, single malt, and single grain whiskeys, each matured for 30-plus years in ex-bourbon casks and described as veritable time capsules with unique flavor profiles. The debut lineup features 4 Speyside expressions: Aberlour 1990, Ben Ridda's 1992, Glentocher's 1992, and Milton Duff 1990, plus an Islay Bunnahabhain 1991, a Jura 1991, a Tobermory Leitchik 1993, and the sole single grain, a Strathclyde 1989. All are now available exclusively via the Spirits Embassy website, accompanied by tasting notes from Channel 4's Sunday Brunch spirits expert, Karina Elias, who praised the Bunnahabhain and Glentochers for their elegant, silky smoothness. A December 2025 business distress report from restructuring firm BTG reveals that 19% of Scotland's distilleries, 69 in total, are facing significant or critical financial distress, marking a 40.8% increase in the final quarter of 2025 and a 17% year-on-year rise, far exceeding the UK average of 12.2%. An additional 217 distilleries across England, Wales, and Northern Ireland reported similar struggles. BTG managing partner Thomas McKay described the situation as a perfect storm of declining demand, soaring production costs, and punitive tariffs in major markets like the US and China. With Scottish distilleries employing more than 10,000 people, McKay warned that even historically healthy, multi-generational businesses are depleting cash reserves and require urgent restructuring or sector support to survive, particularly if threatened higher U.S. tariffs materialize in summer 2026 and further depress exports. Irish distillers-owned Redbreast has released the Muscatel Wine Cask Edition, the 5th limited edition expression in its Iberian series, adding a fresh layer of sweetness to the brand's signature single pot still whiskey. After initial maturation in ex-bourbon and Oloroso sherry casks, the whiskey was finished for 16-month in European oak hogsheads, seasoned for 2 years with Muscatel wine from bodegas Quitapeñas in Malaga, Spain. Managed by 5th-generation custodians Marta Suarez Prieto and Victor Suarez Onrubial, Master Blender David McCabe describes the 46% ABV release as a tribute to Redbreast's historic ties to Spanish fortified wines and craftsmanship of its partners, delivering an aroma of sweet tangerine, twisted orange peel, chamomile tea, nutmeg, and cedarwood, followed by flavors of vanilla, floral honey, sugar-glazed fruits, dates, and caramelized notes with gentle herbal, floral, and citrus undertones. Prieto praised this collaboration for perfectly infusing the cask to capturing the winery's rich 1880 founded heritage. The red-breasted Muscatel wine cask edition is now available exclusively via the brand's website for $109.99. Aberargie Distillery, a family-owned operation by Morrison Scotch Whisky Distillers on the Perthshire farm of one of Scotland's longest established whisky families, has launched its inaugural single malt Scotch whisky, a true barley-to-bottle release, with the first casks filled in 2017. This marks the Morrisons' return to single malt production after more than 3 decades, using a mash bill of 52% Golden Promise Heritage barley and 48% Laureate barley grown on their own farms, matured in first fill bourbon and first fill sherry casks, and bottled at 48.2% ABV, non-chill filtered, not natural color. Managing Director Neil Hendricks described the whiskey as honoring the family's heritage while establishing a distinct house style shaped by its unique highland-lowland border location, featuring notes of baked apple, golden pastries, sultanas, prunes, and a lingering herbal finish. The bespoke bottle and packaging developed with Kingdom and Sparrow and Varelia, UK, evoked the distillery's stillhouse, rolling barley fields, and a sense of place through embossed glass, a commemorative leather neck tag, verdant green horizontal lines, and a gold accents. The Aberargie Single Malt Inaugural will be available from specialist whiskey retailers starting March 3rd, 2026, at a suggested retail price of £65. Glenmore Spirits, owned the London Distillery Company, has unveiled 10 Times Around the Sun, billed as the first 10-year-old single malt whiskey ever produced in the UK capital. Distilled from Quench Spring barley and filled into a single ex-bourbon cask on October 20th, 2015, the whiskey was bottled non-chill filtered at 51.4% ABV with natural color, yielding just 220 bottles priced at £90 each. It offers aromas of tinned peaches, sliced mango, nougat, earthy dunnage, and oak spices, leading to a palette of tinned fruits, milk chocolate, cereal, and Szechuan pepper. Managing Director and whiskey maker Matt McKay described the release as a defining moment that honors one of TLDC's earliest casks, symbolizing the distillery's original 2011 founding in Battersea, its 2019 closure, and its 2023 revival under Glenmore Spirits, marking a bold step forward with packaging artwork evoking a decade of maturation through 10 solar orbits. The limited edition whiskey will be available exclusively via the TLDC website starting February 27th, 2026. Michter's Distillery in Louisville has released the 2025 edition of its ultra-rare Celebration Sour Mash whiskey. This described as one of the brand's rarest offerings, it's priced at a suggested retail of $6,000 per bottle and is limited to just 315 bottles. This is the 5th Celebration release and is a meticulously blended sour mash whiskey sourced from 7 exceptional casks, 4 Kentucky Straight Rye barrels and 3 Kentucky Straight Bourbon barrels. It is bottled at 115.2 proof. President Joseph J. Magliocco and Master of Maturation Andrea Wilson and Master Distiller Dan McKee emphasized the release's unreplicable nature, highlighting the decades-long aging, precise barrel selection, and harmonious blending that creates extraordinary complexity, elegance, bold sophistication, and depth far greater than any single component. Each bottle arrives in a gift box with a personally signed letter from McKee and will be available in the U.S. starting February of 2026. Traveler Whiskey, the blended whiskey collaboration between singer-songwriter Chris Stapleton and Buffalo Trace Distillery, has launched its first line extension, Traveler Full Proof, bottled at a robust 60.5% ABV. That's 121 proof, people. While preserving the balanced, easy-drinking character of the 90 proof expression, Master Distiller Harlan Wheatley noted that experimenting with higher proof on Traveler's unique blend revealed amplified flavors and finishes not as prominently in the standard version, creating a distinctly rich, higher-impact whiskey with notes of caramelized sugar, baking spice, toasted oak, vanilla warm toffee, and dark fruit. Stapleton shared that the 121 proof version was selected during a backstage tasting with his band after a show, where everyone unanimously favored it as the same approachable DNA, but turned up a few notches. The limited release, full proof, is now available at U.S. retailers, bars, and restaurants with a suggested retail price of $39.99 per bottle. The Scotch Whisky Association released 2025 export figures showing global Scotch whisky exports declined by 0.6% in value and 4.3% in volume to the equivalent of 1.3 billion bottles amid a challenging international and domestic environment. The United States, the sector's top market, saw exports drop 4% in value and 9.2% in volume, with sharper declines after the 10% tariff took effect in April 2025. Concerns persist over a potential rise to 35% in July 2026 and the lack of a zero-tariff UK-US deal nearly a year later. The SWA highlighted additional pressures from softening demand, rising UK production and regulatory costs, and tariff barriers in other markets, warning that some distilleries have paused production, jobs are being lost, and more closures could follow in 2026 without urgent government support. Chief Executive Mark Kent emphasized Scotch whisky's enduring global appeal and long-term resilience, but called for immediate priorities, finalizing a zero-tariff U.S. deal, advancing trade agreements with Thailand, Mercosur, and GCC countries, and halting further UK tax rises to sustain jobs, investment, and economic growth. Edrington-owned Highland Park has partnered with creative studio Butterfly Cannon to launch limited edition Year of the Horse packaging for its core single malt whiskeys, the 12, 15, and 18-year-old expressions, celebrating the 2026 Lunar New Year with a dynamic interactive design. The fully plastic-free, paper-based boxes feature a laser-cut double-layer structure and a side-sliding mechanism that activates a moire effect animation, making a galloping horse appear to come alive as the pack opens, evoking the powerful winds and shifting skies of the brand's Orkney home. Creative director Thomas Lacey emphasized the goal of infusing motion, emotion, and meaning while honoring the fire horse's energetic in tactile, sustainable way, true to Highland Park's ethos. Regional Senior Marketing Manager Linda Song praised the contemporary experimental design that captures the distillery's unique island character. The special edition packaging is available for a limited time in China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Singapore, with 12-year-old in purple, 15-year-old in sunset orange, and 18-year-old in red. The American Whiskey Association has announced a multi-year partnership with America 250, the official nonpartisan organization designated by Congress to lead the nation's commemoration of the 200th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence through July 4th, 2026. Highlighting whiskey's deep roots in America's economic, agricultural, and cultural history, from George Washington's Mount Vernon distillery to its role in the Whiskey Rebellion, the collaboration aims to weave American whiskey's story of ingenuity, hard work, and civic responsibility into the broader narrative of the nation's founding and enduring ideals. AWA President and CEO Michael Bielo described the whiskey as a piece of American history you can hold in your hand, while America 250 Executive Vice President Jen Condon emphasized engaging people through distillery visits, responsible enjoyment, and reflection on the industry's contributions. The partnership will elevate stories of heritage and craftsmanship, showcasing how distilleries nationwide plan to mark the milestone and encourage legal-age Americans to responsibly raise a glass to unity, history, and the future. In an interesting article from Steve Forbes of Forbes magazine, he states the following: the U.S. alcohol industry, which encompasses wine, beer, and spirits, continues to suffer from a patchwork of state-by-state regulations rooted in the post-prohibition era, including 17 states maintaining government monopolies on sales and widespread barriers to interstate shipping and sales that effectively nullify the Constitution's Commerce Clause by treating liquor differently from other goods. Despite Supreme Court rulings in cases like Granholm v. Held and Tennessee Wine and Spirits Association v. Thomas, striking down discriminatory restrictions, powerful state liquor lobbies and lower courts have enabled workarounds. A pending Supreme Court case, Day v. Henry, offers hope for finally enforcing uniform interstate commerce rules, with declining sales across categories amid these constraints. His press release argues that removing unconstitutional barriers could boost the industry and align liquor trade with the free market principles that have fueled national prosperity since independence. King of Kentucky, the ultra-premium American whiskey brand revived by Brown and Forman in 2018, and originally created in 1881 in honor of thoroughbred horse racing, has released its 2026 small batch limited edition collection to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States and the founding of Kentucky County, Virginia, which later became the state of Kentucky. Master Distiller Emeritus Chris Morris selected rare barrels aged 12 to 18 years, some with only 16% liquid remaining due to high angel share, to create the first ever triple batch proof series. Batch 1, 105 proof, with sweet chocolate, caramel toasted marshmallow, dried apricot, clove, smooth oak, and toasted coconut. Batch 2, 175 proof, featuring dark fruit, caramel, charred oak, mint, vanilla, and crisp finish. And Batch 3, 110 proof, which has rich in chocolate, brown sugar, citrus, pine, bold oak, and spice with the longest oak-forward finish. Unlike the annual single barrel release, this small batch was blended and bottled at the historic Brown-Forman Distillery in Shively, Kentucky, and will be available in limited quantities nationwide at a suggested retail price of $299 per bottle. And lastly, Lost Lantern has released Far Flung Rye 2, the second batch of its flagship straight rye whiskey blend, recently named VinePair's Best Whiskey to Drink in 2026. This limited edition expression unites 5 to 7-year-old ryes from 5 distinct distilleries across 5 states. New Riff Distilling in Kentucky, Union Horse in Kansas, Baltimore Spirits in Maryland, Middle West in Spirits in Ohio, and Wollersheim Distillery in Wisconsin, marking the first time a Lost Lantern blend includes Kentucky whiskey. Bottled at full cask strength of 124.4 proof, Far Flung Rye 2 carries a suggested retail price of $100 and showcases the diverse character craftsmanship of American rye from coast to coast. In cigar news, the biggest news possibly of all, the 2026 Habanos Festival, originally set to begin February 23rd in Cuba, featuring the 60th anniversary celebration of the iconic Cohiba brand, has officially been postponed, with organizers citing the need to protect the event's prestige and ensure a high-quality experience for attendees. In its statement, Habanos SA attributed the delay to Cuba's severe and worsening economic crisis, driven by prolonged oil shortages, nationwide blackouts, fuel rationing, and disruptions to essential services, exacerbated by intensified U.S. economic sanctions and a new executive order under President Trump, as well as a recent U.S. military actions affecting Venezuelan oil supplies to the island. The decision follows weeks of industry rumors, a UK government travel advisory against all but essential trips to Cuba due to unreliable transport, medical care, communications and basic services, and several Canadian airlines suspending flights after Cuba could no longer guarantee aviation fuel. No new date has been announced. Alec Bradley has launched the Fat Pack, a 5-cigar bundle featuring short, large ring gauge smokes, 4x60s. They're designed for customers wanting a quicker yet substantial smoke. The bundle includes one each of Chunk Maduro, Chunk Shade, a pre-release Chunk Sumatra, Double Broadleaf, and the pack-exclusive Project 40 Maduro, with shipments beginning in January of 2026 to retailers nationwide except California. The packs are priced at a suggested retail of $29.99. The Fat Pack offers a convenient, value-driven mix of existing favorites, an upcoming release, and a unique exclusive distributed exclusively through Alec Bradley's U.S. retail network. Crowned Heads has announced the Juarez Mini Dozer Limited Edition 2026, a limited edition shorter format extension of its popular Juarez line, following the Juarez Bulldozer LE 2020 2025. This 4x58 Vitola delivers the signature Juarez blend profile, enhanced with additional Mexican tobacco in the filler, consistent with the previous Bulldozer releases, and is handcrafted at the Tacanisca factory in Esteli, Nicaragua, under the supervision of Eduardo Pichardo, the same facility producing Crown Heads, Mil Dias Maduro, Blood Medicine, and Belgian Blue lines. The production is capped at 1,500 boxes of 12 cigars each, totaling 18,000 cigars, with a suggested retail price of $9.85 per stick. Shipments to retailers are scheduled to begin later in February of 2026. As reported last month, Pangea Cigars has launched its inaugural product lineup, marking the brand's first cigar release since its founding by industry veterans Abis Luis and Anna Ayapova. The initial collection, available exclusively through direct-to-consumer sales on the company's website, with no retail or third-party distribution announced, includes three core offerings: Blend number 8, a 6x50 Ecuadorian natural wrapper, Ecuadorian binder and filler, box of 12; Blend number 12, a 6x50 Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, Nicaraguan binder and filler; and Blend number 12 Shorts, a 4x50, same Habano blend, box of 5. Each cigar is individually packaged in a custom tube for production and presentation. Additionally, Pangea offers a dual cigar sleeve containing one Blend number 8 and one Blend number 12. No details on future retail expansion or production timelines have been disclosed. The Premium Cigar Association has announced a new partnership with Honduras Festival del Puro y el Café, an annual event held in Danlí, El Paraiso, the epicenter of Honduran tobacco production, that celebrates the country's premier cigars and specialty coffee. Launched in 2021, the fast-growing festival serves as a key gathering for manufacturers, retailers, and enthusiasts. The agreement aims to boost engagement, shared programming, and visibility to PCA members, Honduran stakeholders, and the broader premium cigar community, through mutual promotion, branding support, and complimentary festival registrations for PCA staff. PCA CEO Joshua Harbursky highlighted Honduras' rising prominence in the global premium cigar market, noting the association's ongoing international collaborations with festivals in Nicaragua and the Dominican Republic. Festival organizer Hector Valadares emphasized the partnership's role in showcasing Honduran tobacco excellence, culture, and tradition, while opening new opportunities for producers, retailers, and fans worldwide. Habanos S.A. has launched the Trinidad Corcel, a limited edition premium Cuban cigar created to celebrate the upcoming Year of the Horse in the Chinese Lunar New Year, with a global premiere held in Hong Kong in partnership with the regional distributor Pacific Cigar Limited. The cigar measures 5 3/8 by 55 and is presented in decorative 18-count boxes featuring Lunar New Year theming and NFC technology for product information and authenticity verification. Production is strictly limited to 8,888 boxes, a number chosen for its lucky significance in Chinese culture, with an expected retail price of €78 per cigar, or approximately $84.25 per stick. CEO Dag Holmboe of Pacific Cigar described the release as a tribute to a horse's symbolism of strength, freedom, and endurance, qualities mirrored in Trinidad brand's heritage. The Trinidad Corcel is the 7th Zodiac-themed Cuban cigar following previous releases from Partagas, Montecristo, Cohiba, H. Upmann, Hoyo de Monterrey, Romeo y Julieta. It will roll out to other global markets throughout the year, though no specific dates have been announced. Arturo Fuente has released Don Carlos Sangre de Toro, Blood of the Bull, a powerful new line featuring a dark Mexican San Andreas wrapper over an all-Dominican blend, marking the brand's first use of a Mexican leaf after Carlos Fuente Jr. revealed a bale of it during a 2022 visit to Cigar Aficionado. Previewed at the 2025 PCA trade show and now rolling out in stages, the lineup includes 5 sizes produced at Tabacalera Arfuente y Cia in the Dominican Republic. A Sangre de Bestia, which is a 6 1/4 by 52, Puro Cajones, 5 3/4 by 54, Undefeated, which is a 5.5 by 46. Raging Bull Torpedo, which is a 5 7/8 by 55. And the yet to ship Robusto, which is a 5 by 50. They're packaged in glossy 20-count boxes with a charging bull motif and bold phrase Corazón con cojones, heart with balls, on the lid. The cigars deliver the promised full-bodied intensity as confirmed by Cigar Aficionado's sample reviews. Ferio Tego has begun shipping its limited edition Metropolitan 30 years, a celebratory toro honoring the 30th anniversary of the Metropolitan brand, which first appeared as a Nat Sherman Metropolitan in the mid-1990s. Rolled in the Dominican Republic by the Quesada family, the same producers who crafted the original, the cigar features an Ecuador Habano wrapper, Dominican binder, and a Dominican Nicaraguan filler blend. They're packaged in 10-count boxes at $135 per box, or $13.50 per cigar. Co-owner Michael Herklotz highlighted the brand's enduring consistency and loyalty, noting that Metropolitan has long served as many smokers' first cigar, go-to smoke, or celebratory choice, making this milestone release a tribute to its trusted legacy and bright future under Ferio Tego. Habanos S.A. is launching 2 new limited edition Romeo y Julieta cigars in Switzerland. The Amantes, which is a 6x53 Sobre Salientes, celebrates the brand's 150th anniversary, and the Short Churchill Reserva, a 4 7/8 by 50, featuring aged 2019 harvest tobacco under the Reserva program. Both come in eye-catching gift boxes, the Amantes in 5-count packs, priced at $96 per cigar, and the Short Churchill Reserva in 3-count packs and $229.50 per cigar, with eventual wider availability in 20-count boxes. Sales begin February 17th at La Casa del Habanos shops and February 24th at Habanos specialty stores in Switzerland. No confirmed global rollout dates have been announced, but they are expected to appear gradually in other markets throughout the year. A large tobacco curing barn owned by Plasencia caught fire on Friday at one of the family's farms in Esteli, Nicaragua, reportedly near the prominent Finca El Tuco. The structure suffered substantial damage, though the exact amount of tobacco lost remains unclear. Nestor Andreas Plasencia, a 5th-generation member of the family, stated that the blaze was quickly contained thanks to the swift response of the Esteli Fire Department and the Plasencia team's professionalism, ensuring no injuries occurred. He expressed deep gratitude for the rapid assistance and strong support from fellow Esteli manufacturers, emphasizing the cigar industry's close-knit, family-like solidarity. EGM Cigars launched the EGM Nympha, a new 7 3/4 cigar made entirely from 3-year-old Dominican tobacco, at an event on the Monday, February 9th, 2026, at the Cabinet Club in Kuwait City. Produced at an unnamed Dominican factory, the elegant slender format is designed to encourage a slower, more contemplative smoke, as described by Ettore Morachinelli. Nymphas are a dream come true, a size that asks you to slow down and listen to the leaf. The Art Nouveau-inspired branding was a collaboration between Morachinelli and the designer Caspar Hamilton. In the U.S., the Nympha carries an MSRP of $20 and will be offered in 25-count and 10-count boxes, but it launches exclusively in Kuwait for the first 3 months before wider distribution begins. For the 3rd consecutive year, Selected Tobacco S.A. is shipping the Atabey Black Ritos, a limited edition cigar that began as an NFT project in 2021 before becoming a physical release in 2023. Featuring an Ecuadorian wrapper, Dominican binder, and Nicaraguan Peruvian fillers, the cigars are rolled at Tabacos de Costa Rica and then aged for a minimum of 5 years in French oak or cedar-lined rooms in Spain. The 2026 edition carries an MSRP of $60 per cigar, with production capped at 15,000 cigars total. Distribution through United Cigars is restricted to select retailers who either purchase one of the original NFTs or operate a branded Selected Tobacco or United Cigars Lounge. The confirmed 2026 list includes 13 U.S. stores, such as Ambassador Fine Cigars in Scottsdale, Arizona, Corona Cigar Company in Orlando, the Ariston in Nashville. This follows the 2025 introduction of a second size, the Atabey Black Delirios, which was limited anniversary release for 2 retailers. Freud Cigar Company has launched the Elvis by Freud cigars, a new line honoring Elvis Presley with a 7x38 Lancero Vitola, chosen because Elvis reportedly favored slender cigars, featuring a Dominican Habano 2000 wrapper, Sumatra binder, and a complex filler blend of Dominican broadleaf, Criollo 98 Viso, Pileto, and Ecuadorian Corojo Viso. Produced at Tabacalera William Ventura in the Dominican Republic, in collaboration with the Authentic Brands Group, which holds Elvis Presley's likeness rights, and Elvis Presley Enterprises. The cigar carries an MSRP of $15 each for boxes of 10, with limited production of 1,000 boxes for this initial release. Gerald Tritt of Freud Cigar Company confirmed plans to make the line a regular annual release. Avowed Cigar Company will begin shipping the new Dawn Corona Gorda on Friday, February 13, 2026, as a new addition to its debut New Dawn line launched last year. The cigar features a modified version of the original blend, an Ecuadorian Connecticut seed wrapper from ASP, an Ecuadorian Habano binder, and fillers of Criollo 98, Pileto Cubano, and San Vicente to combine the creaminess of the Robusto Grande with the flavor intensity of the Toro in the line's smallest ring gauge yet. Priced at $15 per cigar and packaged in 15-count boxes, the Corona Gorda is described by co-founder Dave West as embracing the best qualities of the existing sizes in a single balanced format. Aganorsa Leaf began shipping the Supreme Leaf Toro on Monday, February 9, 2026, the newest Vitola in its limited production Supreme Leaf line. This Toro features a distinctive 109-style hybrid cap, combining a rounded Parejo finish with a pointed Bellicoso tip, and uses an all-Nicaraguan blend dominated by Corojo 99 tobaccos and rolled at the company's Esteli, Nicaragua factory. It's priced at $13.99 per cigar and packaged in 10-count boxes. The Toro 109 is designed to highlight the blend's signature flavor profile in a classic Cuban size, with a tapered head concentrating initial flavors, and the 52 ring gauge delivering a rich, dense smoke. As noted by VP of Sales and Marketing Terrence Riley, this release offers Supreme Leaf fans a fresh yet instantly recognizable experience. Production size was not disclosed. Gran Habano has released a limited edition Corojo No. 7 Corona Especial, a new size in its popular Corojo No. 7 blend, which uses exclusively Corojo seed tobaccos grown in Nicaragua with a Jalapa region wrapper. Priced at an MSRP of $15.60 per cigar and limited to just 200 boxes of 10 cigars each, the release is packaged in Peteca-style cardboard boxes, a format the company plans to expand across its 2026 lineup. As stated in the press release, this size aims to highlight the blend's depth and complexity for aficionados. The Corona Especial is already shipping, while similar Peteca packaging for other core series and premium series lines in Grand Robusto and Toro Vitolas will debut at the 2026 PCA Convention and Trade Show before shipping later in the year. Smoke Inn, the South Florida-based retailer, has acquired the Protocol cigar brand from Cuba Riqueño Cigar Company, with the goal of improving production stability, consistency, and availability so fans can more reliably find their favorite cigars. Owner Abe DeBobne described the move as one of stewardship, preserving Protocol's unique story, blends, and quality, while ensuring broader access through Smoke Inn's online and select retail channels. Co-founder Juan Cancel will remain actively involved as brand ambassador and creative contributor, and production will continue at AJ Fernandez's San Latano factory in Alcatal, Nicaragua. Protocol, launched in 2015 by Cancel and Bill Ives, began with its signature full-bodied blend and grew into multiple lines and limited editions often inspired by police themes. New blends will continue under Smoke Inn's ownership. Paul Stulac Cigars has begun shipping the full lineup of its Blue Lightning Sky blend to retailers after a soft launch of the 6x52 Toro in July of 2025. The line features an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper over Nicaraguan binder and filler tobaccos, rolled at Las Villas Cigars factory under Guillermo Peña's supervision, and is offered in 4 sizes: Robusto, Torpedo, Toro, and Lancero, each packaged in 25-count boxes. Consistent with Stulak's approach, there is no official MSRP. Instead, he sets a wholesale price matching his red screaming sun and white blinding light lines with the expectations that retailers will price the cigars around $12 each, within reason. El Mago Cigars has launched the Beach Blend, a new regular production 5x50 box-pressed Robusto featuring a Mexican San Andreas wrapper, a Criollo binder from Esteli, Nicaragua, and Nicaraguan filler blend from Condega, Esteli, and Jalapa ranges, all rolled at the MGE Cigars Factory in Esteli. Priced at an average price of $8 per cigar and packaged in 25-count bundles, the cigar is a tribute to co-founder Nick Fusco's fond memory of smoking cigars with his grandfather on the beach. Fusco started El Mago in 2022 to honor his grandparents Maria and Gonzalo Torre, who perished in the 2021 Surfside condo collapse. With earlier lines like Pepe and Mistico, bundles will be available for retailers to purchase starting February 16th, 2026. Claro, best known for its humidors, has partnered with JRE Tobacco Company to release Mission Zero, a limited edition cigar blended exclusively for the brand and offered in a single 6x52 Torpedo Vitola. The cigar features a Cameroon seed wrapper grown in Honduras over a Honduran binder and all Honduran fillers, priced at $30 per cigar or $300 for a box of 10. Production is capped at just 350 boxes, with around 25 select retailers carrying the line and Claro selling remaining stock directly to consumers starting today. The release embraces a playful space theme, likening to the lit Bellicoso's pointed top and glowing foot to a rocket, with marketing terms like liftoff, mid-orbit, and re-entry, replacing traditional thirds, and each box including 5 aluminum tubes, 4 rounded, 1 rocket booster shaped that doubles as a cigar stand. Lure Cigars and Valakari Cigars have teamed up for their second collaborative release, Nereus, a 5.5x60 box press gordito honoring the Year of the Horse in the Chinese zodiac and playfully dubbed the Year of the Seahorse. The cigar uses an entirely Nicaraguan tobaccos, a sun-grown Habano seed wrapper from Esteli, an Esteli binder, and a 5-year aged fillers from Condega and Esteli. They are rolled at La Tabacaria Cigars in Esteli, Nicaragua, and they're priced at an MSRP of $15 per cigar. Production is limited to 250 bundles of 10 cigars each. Valakari, which distributes Lure, will begin shipping on February 11th, 2026, with availability at 18 select retailers. As noted by Valakari owner Nimr Ahmad, the name Nereus draws from the Greek mythology's hippocampus, half horse, half fish, half sea creature, blending the brand's, that's 3 halves, so it's actually just half horse, half fish, sea creature. There you go. Blending the brand's classical imagery and fish themes in a fitting zodiac tribute. Espanola Cigars is celebrating its 30th anniversary with 2 limited edition lines, Espanola Aniversario 30 Years Maduro and Espanola Aniversario 30 Years Habano. Both blends were rolled in the summer of 2024 at Tabacalera Robles in the Dominican Republic and aged nearly 2 years for optimal maturity. Offered in 2 sizes, Lancero and Toro, each 10-count boxes limited to 1,000 boxes per size and blend. The release will debut at the 2026 PCA Convention and Trade Show in late March and ship to retailers in late April. CEO Anton Marukian described them as embodying the brand's heritage, meticulous blending, and respect for tobacco tradition. This marks the second major anniversary for JM Brands this year, following the 25th anniversary of the JM's line and its own limited editions also shipping in April. Now, in upcoming events, Ian McLeod Distillers will have a tasting at the Algiers Club in Dallas on February 18th. The Algiers Club will also host Redemption Whisky for a tasting on February 25th. Garrison Brothers Whiskey is launching their first bottle and bond bourbon at their Hyde, Texas distillery on February 28th. I am lucky enough to be able to attend that. Welcome to Whiskey will take place at Glazers Hall in London on February 27th through the 28th. The Muletown Pipe Show will take place in Columbia, Tennessee at the Briarworks location, March 6th through the 8th. The Galena Whiskey Weekend will take place at Turner Hall in Galena, Illinois on March 7th. There will be an educational tasting for Glen Moray at Algiers Club in Dallas, Texas on March 12th, as well as a Meet the Maker for Leaper's Fork Distillery on March 13th. The Great Smoke Festival will be happening on March 12th through the 15th at the South Florida Fair in Palm Beach, Florida. Whiskey Riot Dallas will happen on March 14th at Fair Park in Dallas. On March 16th through the 18th, the Beam Institute Industry Conference will take place at the University of Kentucky. On March 21st, the Independent Spirits Festival will take place in Leith, Scotland. Also on March 21st, there will be a Meet the Maker of Mugen Spirit Whiskey with Kojin Tashiro at the Algiers Club in Dallas. Whiskey Chef Lucerne will happen on March 26th through the 28th at the Navigation Company of Lake Lucerne in Switzerland. DailyCon 2026, the Cigars Daily Cigar Festival, will happen in Phoenix, Arizona on March 28th. Whiskey Riot Houston will be held on March 28th at Post Houston. Maltstock Down Under will take place at Ratho Farms in Tasmania, Australia on May 15th. And finally, the Somerton Whiskey Festival will take place at the Lower Red Lion in St. Albans, England. And now we move on to our Pop the Cork in-depth interview of the week with Jack Breslin of Uncharted Whisky Company. He is the co-founder and CEO of the company. We cover his time before entering the whiskey industry, how he got his start in the whiskey industry, and the startup of the whiskey company, and a whole bunch more. I do want to mention and apologize for Jack's low volume level during the interview. I failed to realize where he had placed his microphone on his jacket when we were recording. I did bump up his level to 11, but there are times where it still is a bit soft. I will be going to Scotland in March, and I plan on getting another proper interview with Jack at that time. So please sit back, as usual, grab a dram, pour that glass, pick out a good stick, torch it up, grab your favorite pipe, pack the bowl with your favorite tobacco, and light away. Then listen to the interview. Please enjoy. Okay, we are here today with Jack Breslin with the Uncharted Whisky Company out of Scotland. It's an independent bottler. He is an independent bottler. The company's an independent bottler. And we're going to have a little chat about Jack and then the company and kind of what he's going to, moving forward, and just, the whole independent bottler thing, everything like that. So, Jack Breslin.
How are you doing?
Good.
Good.
You've had a good trip to Texas so far, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time I've been to Texas.
Yeah.
And it's Southern hospitality is real.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's been really cool. The food's been amazing as well.
Good?
Yeah, good
Yes.
food.
Yeah, well,
absolutely.
I know you're heading to the East Coast.
Yeah.
And you'll have some good food there too.
Absolutely.
Are you guys? I forget. Are you guys going to New York also?
Yeah. So on this trip, we're Dallas, we're DC, New Jersey, New York. Yeah.
Well, you got to get some New York pizza.
Oh yeah, of course.
Have
That's
to, right?
Yeah. They don't let you out of the city until you've bought
Have
it.
you been to New York before, though? Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yes. Okay, so that's, but not to Texas. So welcome to Texas.
Thank you very much.
I'm glad you had a good time. I'm glad I was able to help facilitate a few things for you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Fantastic trip up to the blendery yesterday.
Yes.
I really enjoyed that.
Good deal. And I know you guys went to the Algiers Club yesterday.
Yep.
Also, did a tasting. I was unable to attend. I do really wish I could have gone.
It was a real good lineup. We did like 8 whiskeys.
I know.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've had some of your stuff at some of the Houston Scotch whiskey things that Jay had brought with, but it's all good. Okay, so tell me about yourself, kind of a little bit about your background, where you're from in Scotland, and then we can go into Uncharted Whisky Company and go from there. So
okay, cool. So I'm Jack Breslin. I started Uncharted Whisky with my partner Dana, our fiancée, I should say,
there you go.
in 2020. So it was just in the heart of COVID we started, which as a drinks company was an amazing time to start because everyone was at home. They weren't travelling, and we had some real success on our very first day, which was really good. We'll talk about that later. But yes, we started in 2020, and just for the guys who don't know what an independent bottler is, we buy casks of Scotch, and we only really deal in Scotch because we live in Scotland. That's what we know.
Absolutely.
And if they're really, really, really nice, we'll bottle them, and we get 2 or 3 or 400 bottles, whatever it is. Sometimes we do batches of something really special, and when it's gone, and we do something new, and it's constantly evolving, constantly changing.
Sure.
Our other great passion is rock and roll.
Yeah.
So we always name our whiskies after classic records,
hence the Uncharted whiskey company. Yes.
So we, so like for example, we matured a Gervin cask in an ex-Ruby port, so we called it Ruby Tuesday. And the first dram actually I mentioned earlier was a sweet 16-year-old Highland Park, and it was a really gutsy big beast, so we called it Teenage Kicks.
Nice.
And that was the first one we ever did, and that sold out in 3 weeks, which as a launch of a company is just like such an amazing place to be. So that was really good. And that was like 400 bottles. So
oh wow,
we jumped at the deep end.
And you sold out in a couple of weeks.
100% through the website. Yeah.
Wow.
So
but that was during COVID.
Yep.
So
absolutely. So it was a different animal back then, because everyone was sitting at home going, "Oh, there's this new interesting whiskey come out, and it's called Teenage Kicks. Let's do that." And and it was really good value for money as well, because that's one of the things that we're really hot on, is trying to make sure that it's good value for money.
Oh, absolutely. But there are times that I'm sure you find some things that are just okay. I got to do something with this, or try to do something with this. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the one that, of course, would spring to mind. Well, there's two really, but we did like a 30-year-old Bowmore, and we did a 33-year-old Bruichladdich. So in terms of value for money, we were able to do our 30-year-old single cask Bruichladdich, 33-year-old, at cash strength, at less than half the price, than maybe other people in the market were putting similar liquid out. And we know you're never going to get a cheap 33-year-old Bruichladdich, but it was very good value for money.
Because that's actually pre Jim McEwen. That's old stock then, right?
Yeah, it's White Mackay.
Yeah.
So that one, we called it Time, after the Pink Floyd song,
Pink Floyd's Time,
and that was about the changing of the guard and the changing of eras, because Bruichladdich has been, back then it was 1991, I think it was distilled, and that was when White and Mackay owned it, and that was used in the White Mackay operation, which is big blenders, for those who don't know. And then it was sold. It was mothballed. It was sold around the turn of the millennium to Mark Rainier and his crew,
consortium,
and then they sold it to Remy Cointreau. So it's really evolved over the years, and still fantastic liquid. The Face Shield Big Isla Festival, just for fun, it was not a work trip. Me and my brother and a couple of my friends, we all bought tickets to the Bruichladdich Festival and went to Islay, and we had a fantastic day. So we're not just on. It's not all work. Sometimes there's play.
Correct. So real quick, we're going to do a little side trip here. So you've been to Face Isle. So
go every year.
Explain to my followers what Face Isle is.
Okay, so the Face Shield is.
Face Shield. Sorry.
No, not at all. No, it's I always feel sorry for the guys who visit Scotland and aren't used to the way the Gaelic roots of some of the ones. So the Face Shield is the island of Islay and their big festival. That's what the word Face means. And on Islay, if you don't know, it's like. It's like Mecca for a whiskey lover. Exactly. So there's one small island. I think there's 2,000 or 3,000 people on it. There is so many just fantastic distilleries like Ardbeg, Bowmore, Bruichladdich, Kalila, Bunnahabhain. Like
a lot of the top names that are not Glenfiddich or Glenlivet or Macallan. Are on Islay.
And there's only like 3,000 people there. So this tiny island on the off the west coast of Scotland is making whiskey, and that whiskey is like in pretty much every bar in the world. Which is, there's almost no bar in the world that doesn't have a bottle of Scotch in it.
Correct.
And if there's very few bottles of Scotch that haven't at least got Islay made up in the blend, like Johnny Walker might or whatever. So it's a fantastic place, and that festival lasts for about 9 days, and it's a music and whiskey festival, and all the distilleries have an open day where they open their doors and you can go in, and they're all open from Port Ellen to Bowmore to Bruichladdich, and you can go in, you can do tours, you can do tastings, but there's always something on. One of the fabulous ones this year was Ardnahoe. They're my kind of top pick for kind of upping coming.
That's one of the newer. They're actually a brand new just a few years ago, right?
I got their festival bottling this year, and they were telling us that they had to wait right to the last minute to bottle it because the first of the stock to turn 6 years old only just turned 6 years old, just in time for the festival.
Right,
So
yeah.
obviously we picked up a couple of those.
Absolutely.
And so I really rate Ardnahoe actually.
So also most a lot of my followers will know this, but Islay Scotch, most of it, probably 90% of it is peated. And,
absolutely.
And some of it very heavily peated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your
So
Lefroy's, your Lagavulins, Ardbeg. I mean,
You know, and Lefroy's, uses Isla peat, and it has that real medicinal TCP flavour, which divides the Scotch world. A lot of people don't like it at all.
Yep.
But I do, and if they don't like it, then more left for us.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
I'm learning to like it.
Yeah, it's.
I'm learning to like it.
Yeah, it's strange because some people go and they start their whiskey journey with the light, delicate Speysides, but I started mine with the big meaty Islas. Like I went the other way, and I think I'm not alone though. I think I'd say maybe 20-30% of people take the same path I took because it's so. It's so unique. There's nothing else in the world that smells or tastes like.
That's true.
Like that. I'll tell you a story. My grandfather, I'm sure he'd hate me telling this story. I never saw him do it, but he used to have a bottle of Scotch, and he wasn't a big drinker, but it was a special because he had a bottle of single malt and it was Lefroy.
Right.
And just a couple of times he would get it out when family or friends were around, and he would look at that and he'd talk about it, and he'd open the cork and he'd walk around the room and make everyone smell the cork. So how did he get that? How did he do that? How did he create something so unique? Yeah. And he'd let everyone smell the cork, then he'd put it back in the cupboard.
Never drank it.
Yeah, well, no, I think he.
Well, it
was a
not
special thing.
Around.
It was a special thing, I think, to them at the time, So
that's what whiskey is. A lot of the times, it's for special things.
Yeah, absolutely. Funny story.
Okay, so that's Speysides, and it's. I think you mentioned it. Each distillery, some distilleries like Bunnahabhain shares it with Jura. Or somebody shares it with Jura,
there's more
they're right across the
exactly.
The
so there's more distilleries now than there are days in the festival.
Right.
So there's now shared days. So
there's two more.
Yeah, I've actually lost track.
Under construction right now.
Yeah, So Ian MacLeod is building one, and Sukhinder Singh, who owns the Whisky Exchange, is building one, and I think there's another one on the way as well.
So that's gonna be like 13 or 14.
Absolutely.
Which not 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean when Kilchoman was built, that was a big deal.
Right.
That was the first time in a long time.
And that was back in like 10, 11, right? They started that?
Yeah, I think they've got a 16-year-old now.
Yeah.
I think I heard that. So, they're been about that age.
Exactly.
So, that's...
Because, Bunnahabhain, most of their stuff is not peated. Most of their stuff.
The thing is, Bunnahabhain is such a workhorse, and you maybe don't realise how much of a workhorse it is, because most of what they do, or we would see, is Bunnahabhain 12-year-old, which is an exceptional value whiskey.
Sure, absolutely.
And it was one of the ones that really got me into Scotch, was Bunna 12, and it's unpeated, it makes it very approachable.
Yep.
But the Bunnahabhain's day job is black bottle.
Yes.
It is when they're making blended Scotch, they start with a single malt and they'll add to it, and with grain and other things and all that sort of thing, and they'll create a blend, but they always start with a single malt. And so I think Milton Duff in Speyside is the heart of Ballantyne's, which is big out here, and with the heart of black bottle is Bunnahabhain.
Okay.
But they make a heavily peated whiskey.
Yes.
Sometimes they bottle themselves under a name called Toitichada. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And then we see it in the independent world.
Sure.
We can pick it up and it's called Stoisha.
Okay.
But it's heavily peated Bunnahabhain. It's really good stuff actually.
And the other one on Isla that's not typically peated would be Bruichladdich.
Yeah, well,
typically. I know they do some peated, but most of it is.
So Bruichladdich is, I love it.
Except for Port Charlotte, yes, Port Charlotte, and then their Octomore.
Exactly.
And their Dark Arts. Those are their peated.
Yeah. So it's Bruichladdich, it's like kind of 3 distilleries wearing one trench coat.
Right.
You know, because you know the classic laddie as we would see it is unpeated, like your hat.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the Port Charlotte is heavily peated, 40 parts per million phenol. And then Octomore is the experimental wild child. So you know I mean, I think that they topped out. They made Octomore is the peatiest whiskey in the world.
Yes.
And it's continually produced in small batch, and it comes and it goes. And I think 183 parts per million. So
I thought there was one a few years back that was over 200 parts per million.
Yeah, well, it might well be.
But so earlier this year I tried the Octomore 16, this year's version, and I was like, okay, I'll try it. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'll give it a go.
It was beautiful though.
Holy moly! It was not. It was like it wasn't even peated. It was weird. It was so not. Yeah. Whereas I think if you just tasted like a Port Charlotte 40,
it would probably taste
more peated.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you wouldn't be alone in that experience. It's but you know, when they put it out at a really high strength, like 60% or 63%, which they do, it tastes really sweet. And peat is a very sweet thing in itself, particularly if they're not using the really, really medicinal plants, you know. And it's it's a fabulous whiskey. So it's I love Bruichladdich, and you know, we went. Did I say that earlier? We went to the Fresh, me, my brother, and my pals, Andrew Smith from Little Brown Dog, and his brother Ali is a good friend of mine. We all went and.
So I've got one more question for you on Fajal, and then we'll get back to Uncharted Whisky. So it's gotten so big, you now do have to even buy tickets ahead of time, right?
Oh gosh, yeah. We bought our tickets. So the festival was in kind of where Made meets June that weekend, and we bought our tickets the day they went on sale. You know.
Okay.
You know, it was.
But you can buy them
you can buy ahead of time.
But you can buy them ahead of time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's probably suggested that you do that.
Yeah, you don't want to travel all the way to Isla and take a 4-hour ferry for them to not to be sold out. Yeah. You know, so and the accommodation is hard to get.
And you guys camped.
We camped. Yeah.
And I've heard that's what a lot of people do, because it's it jumps to like. They said there's 2,000 to 3,000 people there, and it jumps to like 10 or 15,000.
Yeah, I don't know the numbers, because you would have to be pretty hardcore to do the entire fish. You know, like if you were going to distillery open days and tastings, you know, you would not only have to, you know, you would be drinking a lot, and you would also have to remortgage your house. You know, it's a fantastic time. But you know, 2 or 3 days is enough. Yeah, and then that's what
go
we
visit
did.
The ones you really want.
Exactly. Yeah. So we wanted to go to Bruichladdich, and then there's an independent festival in Port Ellen, which is the town, and it's just about 300 metres from the distillery, and that is on the same day as the Port Ellen Open Day. So that's on the Tuesday. So we've been going on the Sunday, enjoying Bruichladdich. Yeah. Monday, we take it easy. Yeah. Tuesday we work. Wednesday I went to see Ardnahoe and got the ferry home.
Excellent.
So because Ardnahoe's next to the ferry terminal.
Very good. Okay, so let's get back to you guys, because
we're
here for you.
No, I'll talk about Isla all day. Yeah. Go on.
So you've been doing it now since
2020, yeah.
And like, how many recent releases have you guys actually done?
So we're up to, I think, 55.
55.
Well, 55 as Uncharted releases, and there's always a reference on them. It's UC 001 or 002, and we're up to 055 right now. Okay. So we've just done a bottling to celebrate our 5th year as a company. Called You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. Yeah. So named after the Bachman Turner Overdrive song, which interestingly, we bottled a 50-year-old Scotch, and it was distilled the month that Bachman Turner topped the charts in the UK with that song. So like,
great story.
What fantastic luck actually. But so this is how we name our whiskies: is me googling things and looking things up and trying to make it all make sense, because we've got 5 years behind us now. But the next 5 years we're really going after it quite ambitiously.
Is that so? That is, it's bottled, but it's not listed on your site yet.
No, it's bottled. So actually, for the first time ever, we did a second batch of it.
Oh, okay.
So there was only these casks. There's really not very many 50-year-olds out there. So we wanted to make hay while the sun shines and really take advantage of this liquid. So we bottled the first cask and we sold it out in really, really quickly. So there was a sister cask sitting there. There was actually 3 of them. So we went back and got the second one, and just with the way the movements arrived, they're all bottled on the same day.
Okay.
So on the side of your bottle, if you have one, is you'll see we've put which cask it came out of, and then we individually numbered it: bottles 1, bottle 2, bottle 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was quite a.
So any more of that?
Special.
Or is that all sold out too?
No, I think there's a little more of it. The first cask sold out completely.
We might have to talk because I might be going to Scotland in March, hopefully.
Yeah, okay.
And maybe just have to have you hold it for me. And,
no problem.
Yeah,
we'll do that. You come to the tasting room and we'll have we'll do a tasting.
Perfect. Okay, so 5 years, and obviously I know you have big plans. I know what you want to do. We'll get into that a little bit here in a second, but for now, I mean, like in America, the industry is in such a downturn. Meaning, just sales are down.
Yeah, absolutely.
2-part question:
Okay.
Are you feeling that? And what about the whole? I mean, for you, I mean, in a certain way. Okay. Are you feeling that, number one? And
no.
then, I guess a comment, but it's also good for you because you're now able to get stuff you haven't ever been able to probably even have a sniff at. So, but has the downturn affected your sales first? So,
no, we are in our best year ever. We were like, a lot of the industry is a bit of doom and gloom, and in terms of the bulk side of Scotch, it's on the way down. But we have to, you have to expect that and account for it. And the only thing that's constant is change. And Scotch has been cyclical. It goes through great highs and it goes through great lows. And it went through a low at the kind of 89 through to 93. Then it didn't do so well again at the turn of millennium. Then credit crunch, the whole world struggled. What did you guys call it? Credit crunch here?
We called it
the global financial crisis.
The 2008. 2009.
So
not the whole world. That was a whole world thing.
So Scotch, of course, felt that because it's a global product, and then it's just been climbing and climbing
since
record highs.
It's been like fantastic.
Last year, and it's just started, as you would expect, cyclically coming back down. So what our experience is that we've been working away through the boom time, and when the big companies, because most of the Scotch industry is controlled by, there's a handful of big companies like Diageo and Bacardi and
Moët Hennessy.
They've only got 2. Remy's only got 1, I think. Brown-Forman's got 3. So these guys are, and that's not a complaint. They're safe hands, and they've been. I don't know where Scotch would be without Diageo. They've what they've done with brands like Lagavulin and Talisker is fantastic for Scotch. But when things are really good and they're able to sell whatever they want to sell, then they don't necessarily, release a lot of cool stock.
Correct.
And why would they?
But they need it themselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. So then, but things take a downturn. All of a sudden, they're like, oh, we've got this cool stock, and so we're having this. We've just bottled Park Life, which is 22-year-old. It's distilled at Highland Park Distillery. And it's it's fantastic stuff, and we could never have dreamed of getting liquid like that 2 or 3 years ago.
Correct.
And right now we're able to put out some really good value for money, and long may that continue for us. But at the same time, we're quite happy to see I feel like it's already recovering, actually.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. It's been a long way down. No one has a crystal ball.
Oh, no.
So a lot of people will tell you that, this is really strong, it's only temporary, but none of us really know the future. But just the kind of feeling I'm getting on it, I think the future's going to be interesting.
I think that I'm not gonna get too political here. I'm a fan of our president,
right?
But it's my opinion, this whole tariff business through the entire world into a tizzy, kind of going, okay, where do we stand? Where's everybody? And everybody's like looking at, they're on the Titanic going, okay, where are the deck chair? Are we good?
I think
now everybody's kind of going, okay, let's get back to business. You know,
Yeah.
would you? Is that?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah.
You know, and in the premium category where we exist, we're not ultra luxury or ultra premium or anything. You know, like the 10% extra, it influences us.
Sure.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
But it's got a much bigger effect on the really price sensitive stuff.
Right.
So, if you were, creating something like Valentine's or Johnny
Mm-hmm.
Walker or Chivas, which is really price sensitive.
Absolutely.
10% can be
True.
game changing.
True.
And, it's difficult because the 10% for the US, which is, I hope you don't mind me saying, an insanely bureaucratic system.
Oh, yeah.
It's with a 3-tier system.
Yes, it's ridiculous.
That's 3 sets of hands that bottle has to move through, and they all want a slice. So an extra 10% there, and then they add down their percentage. That 10% is now a bit more, and then it goes again.
Yes.
And ultimately, if it costs the people who enjoy Scotch here,
Yeah.
it costs them more money,
Correct.
which is great.
And the new thing, because it used to be so easy to ship some Scotch bottles from the Netherlands or even the UK to the States.
Yeah.
Now, in September, when they've passed this new thing where it's not easy anymore, and sometimes it might not make it.
Yeah, I think that's there's a few shops who in Scotland who did a lot of that kind of straight to customer in the USA, and I'm not even convinced it's legal anymore.
Right, I don't think it is.
I wouldn't want to comment on the ins and outs of it because I don't know that much about it.
Correct.
So
yes, because you don't do that. You don't. Yeah.
No, we work with Jay at the Whisky Lab in DC,
Yes.
so everything for us
So
goes in a
everything.
pallet.
Go check out Uncharted Whisky, and then go check out the Whisky Lab and everything. He's not carrying everything you have, right?
No, I don't. Well, not everything ever. Jay and I have only really been doing a bit of business for the last year or so.
Right.
So, but he's got, has had everything we've done in the last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what I was asking. I didn't know if you were. Some of it was only, Scotland based, or what I mean.
No,
that you're keeping it. So everything that you've offered, Jay can get.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So, and
Fantastic.
he's absolutely. So some of it's by the nature of independent whiskey, it's been and it's gone, and that's just that's the way of it. But there's always new stuff coming through.
Sure. Yeah, but no, I will tell you, as a Scotch buyer, I haven't ordered anything online from across the pond since the summer.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like,
because it's a worry. You're not going to want to buy something across the pond
and more.
Yeah, well, that's your 10%, and then everything else.
And they are really cracking down on so there used to be a rule where you could get away with $800 value,
right?
No duty.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. No anymore.
Right.
No. I think
they want all of it. So I think that's where the real shipping thing changed, where you truly have to put what's there and how much it's worth, because they want every penny. Yeah,
I mean, like, again, I get that, but I also don't know anything about it because we our entire presence in the USA has always been through the Whisky Lab, and we pack a pallet in Scotland and it comes under duty suspense and it goes through the
all legal
and custom, of course.
Absolutely. But I mean, it's so it's not. In that sense, you guys aren't worrying about that because it's all baked into the cake.
Absolutely, and if we were to worry about all that stuff all the time, my brains would be coming out my ears, and we just what we need to do is just focus on making really good liquid, a really good brand, and spending time with people, because Scotch for me it's about people, it's about community, it's about getting people together, and I think in the age of automation and the age of social media, getting together and having a couple of drams is priceless. And that's kind of the big focus for us is kind of community, togetherness, and just enjoying whiskey. And that's how I really enjoyed the Algiers Club tasting last night, and and we're going up to DC today actually, after lunch, and Jay's an ex Navy man in
Yep.
the big Army Navy game tomorrow.
Yes.
So yes,
Yes.
we're going to do that. So I've got a bit of a day off actually tomorrow. So
Oh, are you guys going to go to the game?
No. We're
Oh, you're going to watch the game?
Yeah, we're going to watch the game
Okay.
at his place.
Yeah,
I think
fantastic. I was like, dang, you're going to Philly. Nice.
No, I'm not going to Philly. You know, I've only got 9 days here with Dallas, AJ.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, that's
So
where the game is, though, is in Philly.
Yeah. So four destinations
Yes.
in 9 days, and then I'm going straight
That's
to
a lot.
Hamburg. Yeah, so it's actually 5 to 10 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jay, I've got 1 day off, and I think Jay tried to sneak in a trip to Connecticut, and I thought, oh no. So
Yes.
yeah.
Would you say, having talked about where the industry is,
Yeah.
can you? I mean, tell me how it's changed. So, kind of go into that a little bit. If
How's
you know,
the
and
industry
you're from your perspective.
From where we're sitting, the industry for me has always been about it's about people with the consumers, and that's never changed, and I don't think that's going to change. It's changed in my time in the whiskey industry in that it used to be that the consumer, the guy who would like, let's say he fell in love with Bunnahabhain 12-year-old, and he'd go and buy a bottle of Bunnahabhain 12, and when it was finished he'd go and buy another one.
Right.
And now it's changed in that people, they're always looking for something new. They're always looking for what's the next thing,
Yes.
and they want not necessarily to be challenged, but at the same time they do want to be challenged. They
Yeah.
want to see, a wee bit more interesting stuff coming out.
Do you see that more from a young person's perspective?
No,
No?
not at all. I would say that there's we've got customers in their 70s, and they've changed hand in hand
Okay.
with the younger consumer. And there is more and more younger
Sure.
people getting more and more engaged with Scotch, which is fantastic.
Fantastic.
But it's but no, I would say it's been pretty well mixed the whole way down, the change in consumption. And yeah, people will still always gravitate to their old faithfuls if they're in a bar, they don't know
Sure, right.
what's on offer. But no, people are interested. They want to learn, and they want to engage with everything else that's going on in the
Correct.
Scotch industry behind the big brands alone.
Yeah.
And so that's been a
And
big
you're
change.
filling that need.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
Everything we do is different. Every
Absolutely.
time we do a whiskey, it's different. And it's like one of the most annoying things you can say to anybody, I think, is you should have been here yesterday.
Yeah.
It's so annoying, but that's the nature of some of these whiskies.
Well,
and it's
that's the thing. I was going to even say that
yeah.
all the things you're doing, not all of it. I know there's some things that even we looked at yesterday up at the blendery. You
Yeah.
have access to more long term. But
Yeah.
most of the stuff you're dealing in a cask or
Yeah, absolutely.
So
you get small
when
parcels of
when
casks.
that's gone.
It really is gone.
gone.
And sometimes you can remake a whiskey,
Yeah.
and sometimes you can't. Like we bottled this Girvan I talked about
Yes.
earlier, and it was matured in a port butt
Mm-hmm.
that was coopered, I think, in 1963,
Yeah.
and had been used in Portugal to make port for 60 years. So, and there's also no records of was that one 60-year-old port, or was it 10 6-year-olds, or how was it used?
Right.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
But it's irreplaceable. There was
correct.
one, and that's it.
Yeah.
And now it's gone.
Yeah.
And it's so yeah, that was one of those kind of here today, gone tomorrow whiskies. And
Sure.
but we said what's coming next is we've started to make a core range, these small batch whiskies.
Yes.
And they can be made again and again.
Right.
So we've always used this what I call British racing green colour, and
On your labels.
on
yes.
our labels,
Yep.
and we've also introduced the blue now to.
Yes.
So there's a blue label, so there's a differentiation. So you can
Smart.
well, it's not that smart because they're both lovely kind of pastel colours, and in the dim light of a bar they look exactly the same. So we're still learning. So yeah,
Chartreuse.
chartreuse. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Well, you can always spot that in a bar, can you? So we've
Yes.
this is a core range, and the concept with that is that these small batches that we have been doing are single casks. There's very difficult for the business to grow because if a shop buys that in and then it sells it through,
Yeah.
normally it can't reorder
Correct.
because it's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
So then we're going with new products and we're selling again.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
if you took that to a big distributor like something like Impex or Specs or Benny's, by the time all that filters down, it's nigh on impossible for the team to get their head around it before it's gone.
Yeah.
So so we're bringing something in that's still small batch, but it's repeatable, and we can continue to make it. So the Blue Label is only 8 years old.
Yep.
It's really sharply priced. It's single malt Scotch whisky, and this has been distilled at Altmore Distillery in Speyside, which is really nice, lovely whisky. And
I was able to try that yesterday, and I can I can attest that it's wonderful.
It's good. Yeah,
it is. It's really. I mean, for an 8 year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Truly. Yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, but again, so we've borrowed this term from the wine industry, and I hope they won't be too mad at me. But and we're calling it minimal intervention Scotch. So essentially, we've not really done anything. That didn't absolutely need to be done.
Right.
So there's no colouring, there's no filtration. They were exclusively matured in refill bourbon barrels, so we're using stuff that's been used before. And we just bought a batch of them, and we just opened every single one of them, and we chose the best 3. And that's what made up batch 1.
Okay.
And the ones that we weren't so keen on, they've gone back to the racks, and we'll see them again next year.
Absolutely.
And see how they go. So batch 2 is being bottled today, I think, actually. So, but it's much bigger. So batch 1 was only 640 bottles. Batch 2 is 1,600 bottles. So it's a bit of a step up for us. And that's just what it needs to be. So we've just taken on our first team members. So there's two people on the team for the first time ever. George, who joined us, he used to work with Tomatin, and he used to work with Douglas Lang. And Jillian, who was working for Rassay Distillery, and she also worked for Glenmorangie as well. So she's keeping us organised. She's really good. And
there you go.
It's an amazing time for us because going back to what you said, those the industry is cyclical, and right now, the big boys are having a hard time. So they've opened the doors to us, and we are just trying to make hay while the sun shines and just grab that.
Because those doors will close.
Absolutely.
Once they see that going back up again, they'll go, okay, we need it again.
Yeah, and that's it's understand they're the ones with the distillery, and they're the ones with power. But what we can do is kind of bring smaller batches. Really, what we would say is really quality whiskey, because if we. The rule is that I need to go here, go to a tasting, go to a night, go to stand behind a stall somewhere and say, this is really good, and put our name on it.
Right.
And if you can't look someone in the eye and say this is worth the money we're charging, then they'll sniff that out. And people aren't daft, and you don't want to feel like a used car salesman. It's easy to sell something you love, and you want to, and people can feel that from us, I think. So. Hear it quite a lot. People say, I can tell you're passionate, and get a lot of repeat customers, because we could always say, digressing here, but a pretty bottle, which we have.
Yeah, you do.
Can sell the first bottle. Only the liquid can sell the second, third, and fourth.
That's true.
And
that's true.
That's
the liquid inside is shit.
Yeah. You're not coming back.
You're not coming back.
Yeah.
No.
And people have got a long memory. Like we see it sometimes. Someone says, I had one of them and it was terrible," and I was like, "They've not made that since '95." It's like
probably trying again.
Yeah. So it's you see that. You see that a lot. So we've just got to be really careful. The most valuable thing you have is your brand. And we've just got to make sure that it's really interesting, sharply priced, and the liquids. Good.
Well, that is one thing I've noticed, that you guys are offering some amazing whiskeys. It's still very reasonably priced.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
there's a big difference between cheap and very good value for money.
Exactly.
And there's no such thing as a cheap 30-year-old Scotch, but we can do some really good value for money.
Absolutely correct.
So
to get cheap 30-year-old whiskey, you've got to do a blend that, who knows what they put into it.
Who knows? And quite often it comes down to the wood quality.
Sure.
And when I say that, what I mean is the casks that was matured in.
Correct. Yeah.
I always say casks are like tea bags. If you use it once, you get loads and loads of flavour out of it. If you use it a second time, you go, not so good, but you might get away with it. if you use it 6 times over the course of 60 years, that is going to be a bad cup of tea.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the same for casks.
But there are some distillers in Scotland who like using like second fills, you know, and I mean, because they're allowed to. It does allow them to go out longer without having so much oak.
Absolutely, and second fill is still a really good thing.
Sure.
I think it's when we're on to the ones beyond that, and you know, maybe if you were making something, a blend that was meant to be mixed with Coca-Cola, you know, maybe it doesn't matter that much.
Right.
But if you're going to put it in a glass to drink as a single malt, the way that we present whiskey, then you know it needs to have, you know, a bit more substance.
Sure.
You know, but
yes.
you know.
Yeah.
So and you know, Scotch, the oak that it's matured in is such a big part of the picture. But yeah, you're right when you mentioned that second fill wood, it doesn't have such a powerful influence, which means that you can play with it longer and allow the spirit to develop flavours.
Yes.
That if you used a first fill cask, it would steamroll right over the top of it.
Yes.
So yeah, there's a lot to be said for refill wood.
I mean, obviously there are some distillers. The one I can think of is Tamdu, who uses basically first fill Oloroso.
Yeah.
Both European and American oak, but almost exclusively.
Yeah.
And their sherry bombs, they're
lovely.
They're lovely, and that's right up my alley. But you know, I mean, it's just that's all you're getting. That's you know what I mean. It's
you know they've committed to that as a brand, and that's fair enough.
Yep.
And you know they're very reliable because you can go to them and you know what you're getting, and that's really good if you're gifting.
Yeah.
You know, So, but, you know, we're not. That's what they want to do with their brand, and that's what they do.
Yes.
But we can play with it a bit more. There is Tamdu available to us sometimes, which is in refill bourbon.
Interesting.
Yeah. So,
they actually laid some down in bourbon. At some point they did.
Yeah, because you know,
because all their current releases, it's 100% Oloroso first filled casks.
Yeah, and that's what they want to bottle under their brand.
Right. Oh, I see.
But as Ian McLeod distillers, they're doing other stuff, and you know, all the distillers they trade spirit.
Yes.
You know, when it's new make, and you know it gives them different components for blends and different. Because Ian McLeod distillers are, you know, Glengoyne, Tamdu. They've got Smokehead, but they've also got like Isle of Skye blend, Sheep Dip.
Yeah.
And they've got a brand called As We Get It, which is pretty old school, but they're very much
correct. So blenders. They might be distilling some at Tamdu, putting it in ex-bourbon,
and it'll find
but using it not as Tamdu.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Using it in their other, like say, their blends
other products, and that's really normal that all these distilleries swap spirit, and you know, then they've all got an inventory of different profiles to make their blends with, and it also means if one of their warehouses goes up in flames, all their eggs aren't in one basket, you know. So
that's true. But even then, they'll still do some horse trading with other distilleries to get that profile that they're needing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which. Yeah, that's just the way Scotch works.
Yeah, and that's what the blenders do. You know, they're blenders at heart are chemists, and whiskey is a science. And there's magic in it, and it really does feel like there's magic in it. But you know, blenders wear lab coats. It's a science, and they need all these different jigsaw pieces to put together.
Yeah. There's one thing that you spoke about that I always like to. There's an analogy, or not an analogy, but an example that they had to shut down last year. Waterford Irish whiskey.
Yeah, that was really sad, wasn't it?
It's Mark Renier.
Yeah, I think he's still fighting the good fight though. Last I heard.
No. So they're a Tennessee distilling, an American company is looking to buy.
Oh right.
The distillery, all IP and everything, but not the liquid.
Oh my gosh!
I think they're going to the what do you call it when you guys go into receivership? No, it's what's it called? Administration. Yeah. The administration's still trying to figure out what they're going to do with the
liquids. Yeah. Liquids. Wow.
But one thing that I have heard over and over and over again about that in particular was they never had a core range that people could go back to.
Yeah.
Again and again.
Yeah.
And it was because it was like, oh, I really like that. Oh, and it's gone.
It's gone, yeah. So, and I guess that's the difference between, I think, I always say, do you know what the QE2 is?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
famous ship.
Yep.
So I always say it takes a long time to turn the QE2 around.
Yeah.
So we as a small company, there's 4 of us now.
Very nimble.
Very nimble, and we can do things, and we can react, and we can be really quick. We can taste the cask, love it, and we can have it on sale within like 2 or 3 days.
Sure. Yeah.
The bigger companies, these bigger distilleries, they don't have that luxury. They've got other luxuries that we don't have,
Correct.
but they don't have that one. And I think, at the kind of level of an operation that a distillery would be, you need to have that consistency so that you can put it out to guys like Impex and Specs and
that's why I think if they did in the long run they failed, because Impex and Specs and wherever they were like, well, we want more of that, and it was like, we don't have any more of that.
Yeah, we want A, but you can have B.
So
I'm just guessing. I don't know.
The education, you couldn't educate people quick enough to
not on that scale through that many hands, and obviously I don't know. I never even met Mark, so I don't know anything about Waterford, but I could see how that would be a challenge if what you say is true.
Sure.
And there was no core range, then that's difficult. That's a difficult.
I mean, because it was that he went full in on terroir. I mean, and this group of bottles was barley from this field.
Which is awesome.
And then you sell that. You sell that bottle out. This bottle is from this field. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like, that's really cool. But
so I mean, and it's that thing. We're almost contradicting ourselves, I suppose, when I reflect on it. In that, I'm saying that when the guys they would drink a Bunnahabhain 12 and they would go back and get another one, there's obviously still an element of it outside of the little world I exist in. And and I'm sure the biggest Scotch consumer now is India, and I'd imagine if they go and drinking Johnny Walker, or I think the biggest one there is called Highland Chieftain or something, I think like that, and when it's done they can go and get another one. And that's good for Scotland, and it's good for them, and it gives them. But we might find that as they get more and more into it, they'll start looking at.
That's exactly what they will do. I agree 100%. That's your next expansion into India.
No, I don't. Not yet. So we've only got 4 people, and it's our next expansion. We're talking to a guy in Switzerland, talking to a guy in Hungary.
Yeah, I was going to say,
talking to a guy in Canada.
The next would be you, and
So right now, live kind of expansions for us. We've got France, Switzerland, Austria, Hungary, and Canada. So
that's where you're looking to go.
No, that's where we're actively having conversations.
Actively right now.
In Italy. I'm really annoyed we're not in Italy. If there's any Italians watching this, go and chase down your local whiskey shop. Italy is actually a fantastic market for Scotch, and one of we always say that the granddaddies of what we do as indie bottlers were Cadenheads and Gordon MacPhail, but there's one called Samaroli. And they did a lot for Scotch. And they were Italian.
Well, I mean, Cadenheads and Gordon MacPhail have been doing it.
Way
hundreds longer
of years,
than that. But you're right. They did brought it.
Yeah, Cadenheads have been doing it 200 years.
So, where can we find your whiskey?
So, if you are in the USA, as we are now, then the whiskylab.com. And Jay's based in DC, and you can fulfill from there. But we've also got some fantastic partners up in Saratoga. There's some guys in New York, some guys in New Jersey who stock us. You can go into the Flatiron Room, which is so cool to me. It's just being a tourist in New York, and
I've never been. Never been to the Flatiron. But I've it's a great place. I understand.
Absolutely, and you can go in there and buy a dram of Uncharted Whisky, Central Perk wines as well in Manhattan. There's all sorts of independent retailers. So what I would say is, support small business when you can.
Absolutely, yes.
If you can't support a small business near you, then J and DC can get it to you straight away.
So most of those places are East Coast. So West.
Get a
hold of Jay.
Get a hold of Jay. So he's on it. It's quite a it's quite mind-boggling for me coming into the
Yeah.
States, going, well, where are we? What's going on here? We were up in Illinois last year, and we're available up there as well. And, but every state has its own laws, and it's quite.
You've got 50 different things to worry about.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're in Alaska, I don't think you've got any chance, to be honest.
Well, Jay will get up to you. Jay's your chance. And then if we're UK
the rest
or
of the world,
Scotland,
rest
of the world, come to you, right?
Come to us at unchartedwhisky.com,
Yep.
and we work with exporters in all sorts of different countries. And, but Europe, anywhere in Europe, is quite easy for us to fulfill now. Yeah. And and we're working with more and more partners across the world all the time.
Good deal.
So. Yeah.
Any social media that you want to promote?
Yeah, we like I said, it's about community, it's about talking to us. So we have our social media, same as anyone else. We've got Instagram and Facebook for Uncharted Whisky. But the best conversations we have about Uncharted is there's a group called the Friends of Uncharted Whisky. Excellent. And anyone can just apply to join, and someone will let you in. And
that's on Facebook?
It's on Facebook, and it's really interesting because all the guys from all over the world are posting pictures of what they're having that evening and asking questions and saying, when did this one come out, what's this? And it's a really nice community, and we started recently doing the odd bottling just for the group. Oh, very cool. And we've done one, and we'll do another one next year because it was quite successful, so they liked it. And it's a nice place to be. We do a thing called cask shares, where you can buy. We've got these casks lying down,
and buy shares in the cask.
And it's all it is 2 or 4 bottles, and you get them duty paid delivered when they're ready. But they're always named after a rock star.
Nice.
So in the group the other day, we said we've got these 2 new beautiful Ben Nevis casks. What do you want to call them? And everyone was kind of voting and coming up with silly names. So we've got a Klein Leash. I think it's going to be called David Leash Roth.
And
then there's a Ben Nevis there, and I think it's going to be called Ben at Work.
Well, you guys are really exceptional at naming things, because
thanks.
well, I mean, it's Scottish people in general, because it's a big thing over here where you guys actually the government asked you guys to help name one of their new boats. Do you know about this?
Yeah, we know about that.
Bodie McBoatface.
Bodie McBoatface, yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah. If you want to,
great.
It goes viral every year about this time of year. That they did the same thing for all of the gritters that spread the salt on the roads.
Yes, that's right. And, I heard about this too. What do they call it?
Oh no, there's like 30 of them, or 50 all over the country with all these silly names. Oh yeah. And it's quite funny, but it normally goes viral about this time of year. So,
but let's get back to you. So you guys, you allow them to help name some of these. So
that was one of the conversations we had, and some of the answers were a bit rude, but that's what happens when
friends of Uncharted.
Friends of Uncharted, a lot of the guys. I think they were sitting there with a couple of whiskies in them on a Saturday night. So, it was quite funny. But but we're not going to call
when you do your best thinking, right?
I think so. Yeah. So so that's it.
Well, Jack, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you sitting down and spending some time.
Thank you.
I want you to have a wonderful rest of the U.S. trip.
Thank you very much.
And anytime you want to come back to Texas, please let me know, and I'll put you up, put you and Jay up, whatever. I mean,
that's really kind of
you. Any way I can help. Any way I can help.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that my Texas experience is. Southern hospitality is real. Yeah. It is what they say, and it's been so lovely. And what I would say is, anyone who's not been here, the food's fantastic, and the people are fantastic, and
you shouldn't be scared, right?
No, not at all.
Okay,
it's lovely.
I know. So some people are like, "Oh, Texas."
Yeah. It's such a long way away for us.
It is. It is.
It's
a long way for us to come to you, though, too.
It isn't. Of course it is.
But we love Scotland. As I told you the other night.
Yeah.
It's one of the places I would move to in a heartbeat.
Well, you're coming in March to the Leith Independent Festival, aren't you?
Yes. So that's the plan.
Look forward to it.
Got to make it happen.
Yeah, right? Well, we'll make sure we get some beers and have a couple of drams.
Absolutely.
That'd be perfect.
Perfect.
I can return this to hospitality.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And we'll talk to you in the future.
Look forward to it.
All right, good deal. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank Jack Breslin for taking some time and sitting down with me for a wonderful, wonderful interview. And again, I do apologize for the volume level. I will strive in the future to make sure that does not happen again. Now let's move on to a segment that I like to call What's Chris Putting in His Mouth? The dram of the week is from Nikka Whiskey, and they're From the Barrel Extra Marriage. It's a limited edition. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can get that. Make sure there we go. So it's their 40th anniversary release of Nikka's iconic blended Japanese whiskey. It's a world whiskey blend. Malt and grain from Nikka's Yoichi and Miyagikyo distilleries in Japan, plus some Scottish components, including from Ben Nevis, with over 100 different batches married together. The extra marriage twist doubles the post-blend marrying time in used oak casks, up to 6 months total, creating greater harmony, richness, and longer finish compared to the standard from the barrel. It's bottled at 51.4% ABV, non-chill filtered, natural colored, and 500 milliliter square bottle, as you can see. It's bolder, more refined than the classic, with subtle peat smoke emerging from prominently due to extended integration. And one thing I would say is I wish it was not in 500 milliliters. This is my first foray into drinking some Japanese whiskey, and I probably shouldn't have done this because this is amazing. A wonderful blend. I shared it with some friends that were here over the weekend, and I'm telling you, we all lost our proverbial shit on this one. It was really, really good. So if you can find the extra marriage, I'm sure the just from the barrel is also wonderful, but this one, the 40th anniversary, go get it. The stick of the week comes from a local brand out of Fredericksburg, Texas called Barrier 1492. At the moment, they produce two different blends, red and black. I smoked the Barrier 1492 red, and it is truly a wonderful smoke for most occasions. It is a medium-bodied, medium-strength stick. It consists of filler and binder from Esteli, Condega, and Jalapa, and it is all covered up by an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, with all the leaves being either from Viso or Seco. You'll get notes of honey, vanilla, and some gentle spices in both the nose and the smoke. All in all, I really, really like the smoke, and I will be adding some of this to my humidor. Now, as always, I want to thank you for joining me on this amazing journey to learn all I can about these three amazing industries. I hope that you were able to learn something new from this episode, but more importantly, I hope that you were entertained and will continue to listen and or watch the program moving forward. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, like the video, leave comments, and please spread the words to your family and friends. I will always love having new followers. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. If you wouldn't mind, please leave a review, as that helps the algorithm help other people find the channel. Also, please let me know of any ideas you'd like to hear about in upcoming episodes, and I'll see what I can conjure up. I will see you next week on the Whiskey and Smoke News Network. And remember, please drink and smoke responsibly. Have a great day.